Hi. Hopefully you have authority figures in your life who you admire and respect, such as your parents. But despite that respect, you may see something in a different way, a different perspective than they do. They may feel strongly about their perspective, and it's easy to step back and let their view become the only view in the conversation. And yet, something doesn't quite sit right. So how do you enter into that kind of conversation? I know I have been there, and in those moments, I ask myself, where can I find the courage to engage rather than be silent and just conform? Can math give us a clue on how to move forward? Yesterday, we talked about how different starting points can lead to different conclusions. Math teaches us that we are allowed to begin in different places. Math literally is an invitation to start at a different point. But it is not chaos, because once we begin, we must follow the logic wherever it leads. That means in difficult conversations, we can ask, what if we start from a different place? What would follow from that? For example, rather than judging someone who is angry, how about we understand where the anger is coming from? Now, you may think math is just about numbers, but it is an exercise in digging deeper and considering new starting places. Digging deeper and finding a different starting point requires courage, but the history of math is full of people with that kind of courage. Take geometry. In school, we learned that the sum of the angles for a triangle is 180 degrees. This truth travels all the way back to Euclid over 2,000 years ago. Euclid built this by assuming 5 postulates were true. A starting point, if you will. But in 1854, Bernard Riemann and others had the courage to change the starting point by changing how parallel lines were defined, which is one of the 5 starting points. When that new starting point was taken seriously, the math world and eventually the entire world completely changed. Entirely new geometries emerged. In a very real sense, new mathematical worlds were built from a single change in assumptions. And those ideas did not stay abstract. They became essential to understanding curved space, which is what allows systems like GPS on our phones to work accurately. Incredible! That's what having courage to start at a different place makes possible. This courage creates space, literally, to explore what we might otherwise dismiss. Of course, courage is not just about math. It shows up in conversations, in relationships, in moments where it would be easier to stay silent than to engage in a way that feels honest. Because challenging certainty carries risk. Sure, you might be wrong. You might be misunderstood. You might create tension. But without that courage, something else happens. We stop exploring. And when we stop exploring, our understanding stays smaller than it could be. So my question today is, where might I need the courage to stay in the conversation long enough to consider a different starting point?